This is part 2 on the mark of the beast. So what was this mark of the beast? It's symbolic. All of Revelation is written in symbols, as Jesus says in Revelation 1:1. It is what the Greek word is semaion, and it means we're telling this story in symbols. And Jesus even gives some of the key symbols so you can work it out at the start. Now, the mark of the beast is just a mark on the in the apocalypse, in the symbols, on the forehead and on the right hand. And that's showing us that it's what you think, and it's your right hand is a symbol of what you do. And of course, you think before you do, usually what you do that's wrong has come from the wrong thinking. And that's why they were marked like that. They were the people, sorry about that, they were the people who crucified Jesus, who had the mark of the beast, and they wanted to hang on to it. And they could buy and sell, but the people who didn't have the mark were the people who didn't crucify Jesus, but who believed in him and became believers after the crucifixion. In other words, the young ecclesia, the young people of God that were developing into a group, doing wonderful miracles, healing sick people and so forth, and praying to God. And they had 40 years of a rather tumultuous time in Rome, in the Roman Empire, because it was predicted by Jesus that these things would happen. There were famines and earthquakes and lots of skirmishes and wars, and rumours of wars were going on. And in the midst of this, the people who had crucified Jesus, apostate Israel, this is ancient Israel, nothing to do with modern day Israel, those people were really giving the new young Christians a really bad time. They were persecuting them, they were murdering them and so forth. So it was a very, very frightening time. And they would not allow them to buy or sell. That's what the mark of the beast is about. And that was tempting a lot of the young Christians to just go back into the old temple system. But the New Testament continually says, particularly in Hebrews, that it was about to be destroyed shortly. And it was destroyed completely. In fact, the whole nation was destroyed in the bloodiest war that had ever been. And the Bible says will never be that bad again. When you read Josephus and the terrible things that did happen, people so starved, so hungry for so long, with seditions and the siege, people doing things like eating their own babies. It was just absolutely dreadful. And these things happened, and Jesus wept over Jerusalem, saying this would happen. He warned them it would happen. All of Matthew 23 were warnings and woes that would come upon ancient Israel that rejected him and crucified him. Of course, there were many who didn't, and they were saved from that. That was the saving thing they wanted to be saved from at that time. So a lot of the saving that we read about in the New Testament is related to being saved from that wrath that was to come. And the wrath was on those who had that mark of the beast. So if you're a person who loves Christ today, it's got nothing to do with you.